talking to them about what was traumatic and why is a good first step. Um, but also, I think in terms of moving with in that keeping that in mind, not moving on, but moving you know, with individuals as much as we can explain the risks, but also explain the system that we had in place or they had in place should something unusual go wrong. And to my understanding, the way that the first responders responded was textbook, right? They did absolutely everything right. So that to me is like, okay, even when something catastrophic happens, um, there's insurance, right? We have an entire emergency department that's on call. We have a staff medical personnel that's in the building. We have not just athletic trainers that are going to rush on the field that are on the field, but we had an ambulance waiting in the bay. Like they didn't have to send that from the hospital. And so explaining some of that reality too, and saying like, look, this is a very unusual situation, a case that many of us, most of us have never seen before in football. And so, talking about the reality and the likelihood of something like that happening, but acknowledging again the trauma of just witnessing it. And you can equate that to anything. If you're in the car and driving and you witness a car accident, you're a little bit more cautious when you're driving, right? Hands at 10 and 2, your back is straight up, you're driving the speed limit. And I think it's like that for certain individuals where there's going to be that expectation that like you might be on edge. You might notice that you're a little bit more tight while watching football. And that's okay. And that's a normal response. That's what people should experience when something like this is witnessed. And so I think going through that as opposed to thinking like, I'm just gonna move on here. I'm just gonna, this wasn't me. I didn't know the person, but it could still have an impact.